Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your January 2016 mid-month reading. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, and even though we're going to be focusing on the last half of the month rather than the month overall, I'm still going to be using the same 8-card layout to give us as in-depth a look as possible at what the remainder of the month may bring us. These are general readings, so they may not apply or resonate the same for everyone who watches. If they don't, I suggest you also check your rising and your moon sign as well. A special thank you for those of you who've been keeping me so busy these last few months with personal readings. It's been an honor and a pleasure to meet every single one of you, and I won't forget either yourselves or your stories. Thank you so very much. And a continued thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe to my channel. Your feedback and comments have, for the greater part, been quite positive, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I am also offering yearly outlooks and overviews for 2016 in the form of 60 and 90-minute readings. So if you're interested in those or any other personal readings, you can click on the About button on my channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more detail about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. So let's get right into this reading. This is for Aquarius for January 2016 mid-month. Aquarius, January 2016 mid-month. I do shuffle the cards thoroughly before each and every reading, but I always like to go through a last bit of a shuffle while I'm actually recording with you. Okay. We begin with the Eight of Cups, followed by the Moon card, the Empress, followed by the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Swords, followed by the Temperance card, and the Fool, followed by the Emperor. Wow. And the card that you get for your overall theme or general feeling of the month, I always pull one from the bottom of the deck, and you have the Two of Cups. That's a beautiful card to have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana cards in your reading for the remainder of January 2016, Aquarius. That's rather extraordinary. So let me just take a look here. Okay. We begin with the Eight of Cups, followed by the Moon card. Really looks like the fingers of the divine have a hand in the remainder of your month, Aquarius. So the Eight of Cups. Cups, the element being that of water, and cups is a suit that points towards our emotions, love, relationships, our emotional atmosphere, and inner landscape. The Eight of Cups is a card of leaving. You can see there's a man standing with his back to us. He is dressed for travel. He's ready to go. He's dressed. His hat is on. His staff is in his hand. And he is surveying the horizon. You can see there are 8 cups in the grass behind him. Some of them are upright. Some of them tipped over. The implication being that he has drunk from most, if not all, of these cups. And while he may have found them to be satisfying for a time or distracting for a time, he is done with them. He is ready to move on. He is set to go on his adventure. Or the next phase of his life or her life. So Aquarius, it looks like somewhere around the middle of the month, although the timeline of the cards is not definitive in beginning and ending. This could be energy that begins and continues through the entire month of January and also leaks into a bit of February as well. But it looks like somewhere in the first half and the middle of January, you find yourself at a place where you are ready to move on from something. You have dilly-dallied long enough. You have drunk from this cup and that cup. You have indulged in this, that, and the other thing, but you're done. You're ready to go. You're ready to move on. It's time to let go and move. Now, the Eight of Cups is accompanied by the Moon card, which is a major arcana card. And the moon card speaks of, it can speak to a variety of things. One of them being not having enough information or feeling like you don't have enough information or enough of the road, a map in front of you. This can speak of things being hidden. It can speak of secrecy. Things look very different by the light of the moon than by the light of day. By the light of the moon, there are many shadowy corners and hidden recesses. And the moon can speak also of not having enough information with which to make a decision. But I really feel, Aquarius, that paired with the Eight of Cups, the card of moving on and of leaving, it looks like you reach a point, you're at a point in your life or in a situation or relationship where you feel it's time to move on, that you've wasted enough time or you've spent enough time doing a variety of other things, but it's time to go. It's time to let go and to move on. Although it appears that the way in front of you, or perhaps the path that you're taking or are about to take or trying to decide to take, is not entirely clear to you. There may not be enough information to make you feel comfortable starting out on this journey, but it looks like starting out, moving away from something is what you're going to be doing, or what you're going to feel a strong desire to do. Now next we have the Empress card, another major arcana card, followed by the Eight of Swords. Now, the Empress card is a beautiful card. The Empress card, the words associated with this card are nurturing, abundance, fertility, loving, sensuality. The personality of the Empress is just that. She is a person who is very loving, very nurturing, someone who manifests the traits of that. It's about fertility and abundance. And it looks like what I'm getting, Aquarius, is that this place that you are in your life where you're ready to move on from something, you're either beginning to move on from something or you're in a place where you feel a very strong internal desire to move on and away from something. It feels like the way ahead is not clear to you, whether it's a journey you've already begun or one you're contemplating taking. It looks like there's some fear or anxiety attached to not really knowing if you're on the right path, or which path, in fact, to take. And it looks like something's trying to come through. It looks like the feeling that I'm getting, particularly paired with the Eight of Swords, is that it feels like there's some kind of fertility or some kind of abundance, some kind of new inspiration or rebirth or something that's really trying to break through in your life right now, or at the place you are in your life right now. And paired with the Eight of Swords, it feels like you're in a place where you're kind of stuck, you're kind of held hostage in this situation, perhaps wanting to move on but afraid to move on, wanting to take a new path or take a new road or direction in something, move away from something, but you're not sure because the path seems to be hidden from you, or you don't feel like you have enough knowledge or information with which to walk this path or to decide which path to go on. Now, the Eight of Swords, swords, the element is that of air, and swords is a suit that points to our thoughts, our ways of thinking, our perspective, our logic, our reasoning. And the Eight of Swords is a card that speaks to being held hostage by our thoughts. You can see the woman on this card is in the middle of these eight swords, completely encircled and kind of corralled or held hostage by these thoughts that she has, as represented by these swords. She is blindfolded, and there is a chain wrapped around. Let me try to adjust my light a bit here. A chain wrapped around her wrist. But if you look closer, the chain isn't actually connected to anything. No one's actually holding her there, nor is she chained to something. With a quick twist of her wrist, those chains would fall off and she could remove the blindfold herself, which implies a certain degree of complicity in this feeling stuck or feeling trapped or held hostage, either by thoughts that you're having, a way of thinking. I'm kind of getting the sensation of circular thoughts, thoughts going around and around in your mind. But there's a certain degree of compliance that's involved in this. This card speaks to being held hostage by your thoughts, but actually um, being held hostage by yourself, because no one is actually um, holding this woman bound or hostage except her refusal to take the blindfold off and to see a situation for what it really is. So it looks like, but it feels like there's something trying to break through, some kind of sense of fertility or abundance or a rebirth of some kind. It feels like some kind of creative, inspirational thing is trying to to come through at this point in your life, or wanting to come through. There's a rebirth of some kind, a restart of some kind wanting to come through, or you're feeling this intense desire for this to come through, but it feels like you're being held hostage by your own thoughts, and there's a certain amount of unwillingness here to take the chains off, let them fall off, remove the blindfold, and see the situation for what it really is. Because I think if you do, this path that you want to be on, or that you feel this desire to move on and away from, is going to become more clear. There's something about this coupling of the Eight of Swords and the Empress. Something's trying to come through, some kind of sense of illumination and rebirth, but it almost feels like you're afraid to look at it, for fear of what you may feel compelled to do, or the choice you may feel compelled to make somehow. Now we follow that with the Knight of Swords paired with the Temperance card, a beautiful card. The Knight of Swords, now this Knight of Swords could represent you, Aquarius, as you are an air sign, or for some of you this could represent an actual different individual in your life who also is an air sign, an Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, or someone who manifests the traits of the air sign. For some of you, it may resonate for another person coming into your life or in your life at the present who has these character traits. But I think for the larger part of you, this card actually represents you. And the Knight of Swords is, knights are the bringers of the tarot. When you consider their role in the medieval world, they were the ones set out to accomplish something on missions and quests, to obtain something and bring it back, or slay a dragon, or some other kind of mission. Knights are the ones that just go charging in. They tend to be very determined, very driven, almost obsessive personalities, very loyal and very steadfast as well. But knights typically charge right in. Now, the Knight of Swords is somebody who would be, if this is resonating as you in this reading, Aquarius, this represents you coming in or being all of a sudden hit with a new idea of some kind, a new set of ideas, or a new perspective, a new way of looking at perhaps the situation that you find yourself in, or that you're wanting to move away from, this new path you're wanting to take, this new creativity or inspiration, this rebirth, this restart of some kind that's really fighting to come through. It looks like you get an idea about it, a kind of an illuminating sudden idea or set of ideas or perspective about it, on how to go about accomplishing this thing, or something that makes the path that you need to take clear. For others, this could be an individual in your life who's kind of charged a little voice of wisdom and a piece of advice about practicing temperance. Whatever it is, this new idea or new perspective that you have is going to require some moderation and some balance and some control, which is what the Temperance card, what a beautiful card, speaks to. This card speaks of being able to hold opposite extremes in perfect harmony and perfect balance and perfect integration. This card speaks of moderate, of temperance, of balance, of patience as well. I think that whatever it is that this new idea you get, or this new information that you get, whether it's something that just comes to you through spirit, or whatever your spiritual structure is, or an individual bringing you some knowledge or message, or some new way of looking at this path through that you're trying to forge, it's going to require some temperance and some balance and some moderation in order to make this happen, and to make your path through this clear. Now, at the end, towards the end, or at the end of the month, we have the Fool card paired with the Emperor card, two major arcana cards, and two seemingly opposing personality types as well. The Fool card is my absolute favorite card in the tarot deck. The Fool card represents the zero. It represents being at the beginning of the journey. It represents being at that place where you're just about ready to take that first step, and anything and everything and absolutely everything is possible. The potential stretches out in front of you. The Fool speaks of being on the beginning of a journey, and it also speaks to living each moment in the moment, each step as you take it. The Fool, as you can see, is dancing along his journey. He's living in each moment as it comes. He's loving the journey itself. He's not particularly concerned about the destination. He's probably not concerned with whether or not he's packed enough socks. This is an individual who is savoring every moment with absolute childlike faith and confidence and wonder that a child has in every moment, and appreciating every step of the journey itself. And I think this directly correlates to how this reading began with the Eight of Cups and the Moon card. Um, it feels like the path in front of you that you need to take, or that you want to take, or that you feel compelled to take to move away from something and to start on a new path feels kind of shadowy and unclear, and like maybe you don't have everything you need, or maybe you don't have all the information. Something's trying to make a breakthrough and you just feel stuck. But the Fool card is saying, take the chance, take a risk. This Fool represents new beginnings, the beginning of beginnings, the potential for absolutely anything to happen. This is the Adventure card. This is the Take the First Step card. So it is paired with the Emperor card, which is a completely different personality than the Fool card, both major arcana cards. But I think that this is where balance comes in. This is where the Temperance comes in, um, to harmoniously marry the two of these. Now, the Emperor is, when you think about kings, they tend to be the more mature, reflective people. They have a kingdom to run. They tend to be very thoughtful and very wise, ideally, because every decision they make has an impact on a huge number of people. And so, um, that's quite a big job. Now, the Emperor is a few steps up from that. Even the Empire has an entire empire to run and to rule, a collection of kingdoms. And this is a very, very thoughtful individual. This is a very wise individual. This is somebody who has gotten to where he is by ruling with wisdom and compassion and intelligence and moderation. This is someone who very carefully considers everything involved before he makes a decision, because he understands that the consequences and impacts of his decision will be far-reaching. This is an individual who, it's the ultimate father figure of the tarot deck. This is a very structured, very mature and very responsible individual, and an excellent person to seek advice from. This could also speak to if you're really feeling stuck in this place and you have someone like the Emperor whose opinion that you value, the advice would be to seek this person's opinion out and get feedback from them as well. But I think that the coupling of these cards together speak of really towards or at the end of the month, Aquarius. It feels like the advice of the cards based on this reading is, even though you feel like you don't have enough information, or you're a little nervous about which path to take or how to move through this, how to move away from it, because it feels like you've just got all these thoughts going around and around in your mind, and what do I do? Something's trying to break through. It looks like you get a new idea, a new perspective, something just comes charging in, something or someone comes charging in to give you this new perspective, this new way of thinking. It's going to require some temperance, some balance, and some moderation, and I think that's what this coupling of cards is also speaking to. For those of you who are considering beginning a new business venture, or a new job, or some new entrepreneurial thing or a project, the cards speak very well to that. But it speaks about temperance too, of striking a balance, which is what the Temperance card represents, of striking a balance between the childlike naivety and innocence of just bounding forward and living in every moment, and feeling the joy and wonder of every moment and every step of this journey, completely living in the excitement and the joy of the journey, but also tempering it and moderating it with some of the traits of the Emperor as well. Make sure that you that there's water in the pool before you actually jump in. But then once you do, jump in and enjoy it and paddle around. You can start on this new journey and this new project, whatever it is that's kind of fighting to get through. Um, but the advice is to moderate too and be a little more thoughtful and smart about how you go about doing it. Now, the card you pulled for the overall theme, general feeling of the month is the Two of Cups, which is really interesting because this is the soulmate card. This is the card that speaks of kind of a divine union between two people. The basic underlying theme for those of you for whom this doesn't really strike me as a love reading or so much of a relationship reading, but the underlying bottom theme of the Two of Cups is really about the coming together of two things, the joining, the union of two things in a perfect and harmonious way. For those of you for whom this might be a new job or a new career or a new career path or some new business or entrepreneurial thing you're starting up, this speaks about making a union or a contract between two people or two organizations or signing paperwork for your new job. But it speaks of a union that is really blessed, number one, but on a variety of levels, it's a very good match. It's a very good fit and a very good union in terms of two entities coming together or two people coming together. Whether or not this resonates for you as a love reading in terms of moving into a new relationship, and you may have some fears about that, or whether this relates to you in some other situation in your life, job or career or spirituality or something. The Two of Cups as an overall theme card um, is saying that whatever it is blessed, that you should let go of some of these thoughts that are chaining you up, get that fresh perspective, have the courage and the childlike enthusiasm and faith and wonder in this journey to take the first step as the Fool would and does. But like the Temperance card and like the Emperor, remain grounded. Try to remain thoughtful about it while you're enjoying the steps of your journey along the way, because it looks like there's something trying to break through, some restart, some rebirth, something new trying to break through, something old being shed and something moving onto something new, moving into something new. But the Two of Cups says yes, it says this is a blessed thing and that it's going to be a really great fit on a variety of different levels. So Aquarius, what a wonderful reading. It looks like it's going to be kind of a sort of contemplative month too. It looks like there's a lot to consider. It looks like the only conflict you really have appears to be within yourself, within your own thoughts and your own thought pattern, kind of going around and around and just feeling kind of blindfolded and chained in. But it's really by your own self. You can remove these blindfolds. You can take the chains off, and you can allow what's trying to come through. And at the end of the day, even when you feel like the path isn't as clear as you would like it to be, the Fool says begin, take the first step. Temperance and the Emperor say to be thoughtful about it, to do the planning that you need to do, but the Two of Cups says this is a guided thing and a blessed thing. So bon voyage. So good for you, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated with you somewhat. It feels like it's specifically oriented towards a specific group of Aquarians because what it's referring to is not entirely clear to me. But I hope it gave you some insight and some clarity on the path that lies ahead for you. If you would like a personal reading, please feel free to contact me at Maggie, the number one, McGuire at gmail.com. You can click on the About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, and it will give you the same information. And until I see you again in the February readings, I wish you joy, peace, happiness, and a blessed life. Thanks for watching, Aquarius. See you later.